Hello, my name is Megan Ball, and today I'm going to talk about a Active Inspire flip chart I designed for a 4th grade science class talking about rocks. So first I included the curriculum standards. The first one is the Iowa Core, which is the science standard for earth and space science. It's talking about understanding and applying knowledge of properties and uses of earth materials. So this lesson connects to the Iowa Core standard because the students explore properties and characteristics of the 3 different types of rocks on Earth and use knowledge of how the rocks were formed to explain their characteristics. Then I also included the ISTE standard for students because students are using digital tools to gather, evaluate, and use information because they are using the active board and the response device. So first I included the objectives, which are given rock samples on the interactive whiteboard, students will determine the type of rock, metamorphic, sedimentary, or igneous, by using the response device with 75% accuracy. Then the second objective is what the students will be doing when we are done using the interactive whiteboard, and they will turn in a scientific journal for their assessment. For the lesson, the first thing I did was create a chart that categorizes the different types of rocks. This chart talks specifically about composition, which I also said which was mixture in case the students did not know what composition meant. And then I included the different characteristics of composition for each type of rock and included a picture of the rock. So right off the bat, the students know what to expect when they see a sedimentary, igneous, or metamorphic rock, and they can start thinking about what the different patterns are and the different characteristics are for those rocks. And I chose just a solid background because I did not want to take away from the content itself, and brown goes well with rocks. The next slide I have is a question, true or false question, that talks about the different compositions. So, for example, this question says, sedimentary rocks are made from magma lava. Is this true or false? And the students would have to click in the answer, and I could see if they understood the last slide, and if not, I could go back and reteach it. The next slide I have is a self-paced question, which is a little more in depth and takes a little more critical thinking. So the students have to choose what rock this is and why they think it's that kind of rock. And I can see if they have deeper knowledge about what we talked about, and if they can kind of use this information to talk about the next slide, which is characteristics. So it's kind of a pretest to see what all I need to talk about. So this next slide is characteristics for sedimentary, which we talked about how they're formed, the different types, and the texture, and I have a picture for each one. I'm sticking with the solid background so I can focus on the content and the students do not get confused. And I have a chart down below for the texture, and so students can compare this chart to the rocks on the table. I do the same thing for igneous rocks. They will learn about the location, the color, the crystals, and the texture. And I have a picture going with each different category for characteristics. And that way the students get a broad variety of characteristics and they can see the different spectrums. Next is the metamorphic rocks, and we talk about textures, so foliated or non-foliated, environments, and then the prolith parent rock. So the rock cycle on here can show the students how a sedimentary rock, for example, can become metamorphic. And then we talk about if we have a multiple choice question, which the students can say if it's A, B, or C, and that lets me know, again, if they were paying attention and learn the material. Same with this one, it's if it's foliated. And this one is another true and false, which is just talking about weathering. And then we have a do now. So the students can get ready and do the assessment. So they're supposed to pick out 5 rocks from the center of the table, write about them in their journals, describe each of the characteristics they learned, and turn the journal in to me when they're done. And this is a summative assessment to see what they learned from the lesson. and then I have my references. I hope you enjoyed this mini lesson on rocks and enjoyed the different design decisions for the flip chart. Thank you.